welcome to another Keelhauled podcast. I'm your host, CaptainLogun, and we've got a lot of Sea of Thieves news to cover today, so tie yourselves to the mast and hold fast. Ahoy there, pirates. I hope you had yourselves a good week and a good weekend. I know I did. This week, I'm going to be talking about the dev update. We've got some Q&A for Arena and some more interesting things that are coming up around the Sea of Thieves world. Plus, I'm finishing off the interview with Aaron this episode. All that and more on this week's episode of Keelhauled Podcast. First up on today's docket, let's talk about the weekly dev update that we got this week. It's kind of interesting. At the start, Joe definitely kind of reiterates why they made the capstan changes and how it kind of affects the flow of combat. They stress that it felt a lot more like luck when capstans were getting knocked down as opposed to something that was more tactical. And they feel like they're seeing a better flow of combat in Arena, where I guess this is really the biggest focus, is they want to make sure that Arena feels fun and natural and that it's not so kind of stop-start, because it's true, once you get an anchor down on a ship, it really does kill just the momentum that ship has. And ship-to-ship combat is probably one of my favorite things, but I also like winning as well too. And if the ship can't turn, then I feel better. And it's hard to know, because usually when you are fighting another ship, there's two types of ways that you can kind of go about it. You can kind of and I'm speaking specifically in regards to firing cannons at it. Typically a couple shots up towards the top deck will help kind of keep pirates off of their cannons, preventing them from being able to fire on you, and those hits don't typically do too much to sink their ship. But hopefully if you have a couple people on cannons, then one person can focus on top deck, one person can focus on bottom deck, so that way you're drawing their focus on being able to attack you while sinking their ship at the same go. Having the capstan knocked down can definitely help give them an incentive to focus on the capstan, but more or less people generally let it go to try and make sure that the ship is actually moving. I think the big thing is this kind of gives pirates who prefer to board a lot more of an opportunity to be proactive and impact a fight in the arena, or just out in general, being able to get aboard and drop that anchor to make it a fully tactical decision, as opposed to just kind of happening out in the world. I still don't think that taking the mechanic out is what I would have preferred, but that's because I feel like we could have experimented a little bit more with what works and what doesn't work, and instead of it taking just one hit to knock it down, maybe increasing the number of hits. Stuff I've talked about in the past. It's nothing too major, but it was such a cool thing that came to the game, and I kind of wish it had stayed a little bit longer. I feel like we maybe could have lived with it for a few more months before nixing it in the bud. Some of the other things that they did talk about were just things that they want to add to the arena in kind of balancing things. As far as cursed cannonballs was one of the things mentioned. I imagine at some point they will probably start looking at adding other things, maybe world threats, as far as like krakens and megs and things like that, skeleton ships, things to kind of like add a little more spice to the fights. And I don't know who mentioned it first in the Discord. I know People's Republic mentioned it, but Evil Monkey says that he mentioned it as well. And they suggested adding rowboats for the ships. And this was something that I actually, once it came out in the open, it really made me question why this isn't in the game already. Why don't we have rowboats in Arena? It seems like an easy thing to add, and if everyone has one, then it affords you the opportunity to really have some fun. You have one person going off with a rowboat to try and dig up a bunch of chests, and if they manage to survive staying alive on an island, digging up a bunch of chests and then taking those to a turning point, that frees up the rest of the ship and crew to be able to take out other pirates and to go hunting, kind of giving you a bit of a split duty on there, and giving someone on an island a little more agency if, say, like they don't get all the chests and they spawn on a different island, then at least they can take what they have instead of trying to hide it. That being said, I do really appreciate the pirates that can manage to stay alive on an island, dig up a bunch of chests, and then hide them, and force the other crew to go to islands to get those chests. Although it does kind of slow down kind of the fun of the combat, because you get the crews that just go out there and start hunting chests instead of trying to engage with other pirates in the arena. And I still feel like the arena is one of those situations where you're purposely going in to have a good fight and to win, and the best way to win is to sink the other ships whilst getting treasure at the same time, instead of just winning purely based off of being really, really good at digging up chests and running away. I feel like the whole point of Arena is to have some good engagements as well. I know that's contrary to what some people's playstyles are, but that's just kind of how I feel about it. I feel like that the arena is really fun when you get a chance to have those good fights. It's never fun when you lose, but at the same time, you know, if you lose an arena, then the crew that beat you could possibly teach you on how to be a better sailor or fighter. And sometimes it comes down to other factors that are just beyond your control, and it's hard to really, you know, judge things based off of not understanding all the variables. Some of the really cool stuff that has me excited is stuff that Joe talked about with the developer update in regards to more content coming in the game. Now, full disclosure, I've been taking my dear sweet time with Anniversary Update. I have not really been pushing myself to do a whole lot in regards to like all the Tall Tales and the Hunter's Call and the Arena. I've really been taking my time with that stuff because I figure this is going to be something that I want to enjoy for a good while until because at this point we really don't know when the next update is coming as far as major content. We know that there are some hints with some recent things that have come to the game, and that those little teases on N13 might be indicative of new Tall Tales coming to the game, or at least some big story beats for the lore. Now, part of me thinks that that's the case because of the leaked comic that we got a couple weeks ago that has since disappeared, and it feels like some of that stuff is already ready to go, and we're just waiting to find out what's going to happen with that. And then we've started to see some stuff pop up around the worlds, and because we don't know necessarily when we're going to get the next major kind of story release as far as like new Tall Tales or a new plot or a new threat in the world, it's something that I want to take my time with the stuff that we do have. You know, we have to complete it multiple times, and I want to space that out. I want to enjoy it. So while that's happening, Joe talked about how in mid-January we're supposed to be getting something that is akin to the mercenary missions. Now, I don't know necessarily what that means, because a mercenary mission to me is pretty straightforward. It's a take on the gilded voyages that we got during December and during the with the gilded Athenas, and the mercenary missions just forced us to do regular voyages with the Reaper's mark up. So I would be interested to see like what they mean by having something that's like a mercenary mission but slightly different. I don't know what you could really change on that aspect of it, but I'm looking forward to seeing kind of what's different. Like, are we still going to have the Reaper's markup? Because that's kind of where the fun came from with those quests, was you were constantly on your guard with the Reaper's markup, and sometimes it worked out. Some people just wanted to get it done. They didn't necessarily want to fight, and then some people really wanted to fight, and that was a lot of fun too. I definitely remember having crews that, you know, when we were on a galleon over at Wanderer's Refuge, we would just have sloops coming nonstop to try and sink us, and it was a lot of fun to try and defend against that and try to get as much gold as you could. And coupled with the double XP weekend, I could definitely see some more Reaper's Mark missions, some more mercenary missions coming out, and I can imagine if that's the case, we're most likely going to get some more cosmetics with it. It seems it'll probably be smaller stuff. If it's like anything like the mercenary missions were back at the beginning of the year, I would expect that we would probably see some new cosmetics, and that Duke the Dark Lord will probably have more information about that when we start actually getting to see that stuff. If you want to test it out, they said that they were going to be testing that with the insiders, so you can always sign up for the insiders and start doing some of the testing when that goes live to be able to help kind of test that new content out. And just be fair warned, spoil it for yourself. You'll probably be spoiled, and none of that progress will actually transfer over. But if you play long enough and start working on it, you can still earn those rewards for the insiders, cosmetics, as well as doubloons and gold. So spending some time in there definitely kind of they do kind of reward you in a way for the stuff that you do in there. But you just can't talk about it, and you should definitely want to try and go in there with the mindset that you want to help make sure that content comes out free of any kind of major bugs. And yeah, that's as far as we know at this point. We are at the absolute low point for exciting stuff that is happening in game right now. Everything we have is as old as it's probably going to get until we get new content up. So hopefully you haven't burnt through too much of it and you're sitting around waiting. If you are, I mean, there's a ton of games out right now, and a lot of people have not necessarily thanked me, but they said that they enjoyed some of the E3 commentary that I did the last couple episodes, both with Aaron and the E3 episode itself. So I definitely appreciate your guys' feedback on that. That meant a lot to me. So I will probably research a little bit more about what I want to do in the future, possibly creating a completely separate podcast just for general game news and what I think is going to be interesting or fun or a whole bunch of different stuff. In the meantime, though, the best thing I can recommend is try and grind out some of those last few journals that you got to find. You can always go to rarethief.com. They have I can't remember who did it, but they have a great guide for where all of the journals are. And as Andy has stated, Andy Preston, on the Sea of Thieves weekly stream, that it is not cheating. It is a really good. Oh dang! I just forgot what it was. I clipped it even. It's gosh, I can't remember what it was. But he made I hate that I forget this. He made a really good joke about how it was. I'm gonna find it. Hold on.
Jetwagon on Mixer is asking, saying, is it cheating to use my unofficial Sea of Thieves companion app on my phone to help figure these out?
No, I'd say that's social co-op. Welcome to the crew.
Oh, and before I forget, I did want to mention that the weekly stream, Shelly did in fact confirm that the Hunter's Call was going to have a huge buff to all the turn-ins, the gold, like their reputation. They're basically going to do what they did for the cargo stuff, and they're going to make sure that the Hunter's Call rep turn-ins and gold rewards are actually pretty nice. I'm looking forward to seeing how this works out. This is something that I know a lot of people have had grievances with, as far as like how much gold and reputation you get for like monster turn-ins as opposed to like Ruby Splashtails. And I can totally understand. It makes a lot of sense that you should get rewarded properly for the amount of effort put in. It's a lot harder to take out a Kraken or a Megalodon solo as opposed to sitting next to the dock at a sea post and fishing up a bunch of common fish. So it's something that I think everyone will really appreciate. So maybe not grind until that comes out, but at the moment we don't really know when that's going to happen. So keep your eyes out. I will definitely be talking about that change when that does come out, and I would imagine that it would be probably around mid-July when we get our next update. Which, by the way, I can't reiterate how much I'm looking forward to. I have felt that the content that I've been doing has been great, and I still really love it. But I always love when we get new stuff. So the selfish guy in me really just wants to be able to try out different stuff and see some excitement, some fervor around the game every time there's more stuff coming out. And this is kind of what Rare's working towards as well, too, right? I mean, this is actually kind of what they want. They want to make sure that there's stuff going on all the time so that people are being able to enjoy themselves and have something new and interesting to do, while it's not like completely destroying the morale and the work life balance for the team as well. Finding that good cadence of content, and I don't know, with the mercenary missions, I felt like those were good enough that I enjoyed that they wanted to have something that is easy to put in, that had small rewards and was worth it to do, and brought a lot of kind of interesting fighting to Adventure, because right now it has pretty much calmed down, with a few exceptions out there. I know like a bunch of pirates are still going out and kind of fighting in the seas. I still run into it a lot and enjoy it. Especially when I know that it's something that will be a fun fight to have. And with the Reaper's Mark missions, I think that we could definitely kind of vary that up a little bit. There's a lot that we could do. We still haven't done any in the Roar. Like I'm looking forward to when we start doing. Oh wait, did we? No, I don't think we did anything in the Roar. I don't remember if we did. We might have on that last one with the Shipwreck Bay. God. Man, I hate my memory sometimes. It's such a pain in the butt. But regardless, I'm looking forward to whatever comes. And I think that's going to do it for this part. Let's go on. All right, pirates. Next up on today's docket, I want to ask you, are you ready to buy more stuff for Sea of Thieves? Not in-game, of course, but outside the game. Are you ready? Because I'm ready. And I found out, thanks to Tri-Headed Monkey, who posted in a secret Discord that I can't talk about, even though I'm mentioning it, I'll probably get kicked out. But thanks to him, he actually mentioned that Loot Crate, you're probably familiar with Loot Crate, and no, this isn't an ad because I'm not sponsored by them, but I know who is. They are having a July theme called BAMF, and I'm not going to explain that because this is a PG show. But their BAMF-themed Loot Gaming Crate that is coming out in July. Now, this is specifically the Loot Gaming one, not the standard one, but the actual Loot Gaming one. It's a little bit more pricey than the standard Loot Gaming one, or Loot Crate one. But the Loot Gaming Crate for July is going to have an exclusive collectible on Sea of Thieves. Now, they've given kind of like a who's that Pokemon kind of screenshot for that. And the best we can tell is it looks like a kraken wrapping a skeleton ship, a galleon. And I can't wait to check and see what this thing is. You can order anytime now up until July 27th. July 27th is the cutoff date to order the Loot Gaming Crate for July, the BAMF one. And if you want to save 10%, there's an easy way to do it. Captain J is he's actually an affiliate. He's a sponsor from them. He has a promo code, and the promo code for that is just all together, no spaces, the Crow's Nest. The Crow's Nest. So go to the link for Loot Crate and check out the Loot Gaming Crate. You'll see BAMF. You can order that one. You can sign up for 1 month and cancel after that month, so you don't get more than one if you don't want it. But that promo code will take off 10% of that. Now, as far as I know, this is in the US. I don't know if this is international. If it's not, I'm very, very sorry for all of my friends out in the UK, as well as the rest of EU and Australia, Canada, I guess. You guys know who you are, Canada. I love a couple of you. The rest, though, I don't know. I got to keep my eye on you. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to this. I can't wait. There's so much stuff that I need to spend money on between now and September that I keep questioning, like how I'm going to do it. And every time I question, I just think, oh, I'll just have to work some more OT at work, because that's going to be the only way I can really do this. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope it's exciting. I hope it's good. You know, we got the gold or no, what do we get? It was the Flameheart one. Yeah, the Flameheart one came in one of the past crates that I missed out on. So I still don't have Captain Flameheart figure or the black one that was available last year. Oh, when were they? I think they were doing that at New York Comic Con or at Gamescom. I can't quite remember when they were doing that one, but I missed out on both of those. No, maybe it was E3. I think it might have been E3 2018. God, that stuff just blends together. A year's gone by, it all blends together. But anyway, lootcrate.com/crates/gaming. Go use the promo code The Crow's Nest, get 10% off, save some money, get the Banff crate for July, and we'll have more Sea of Thieves swag to put up on our shelves, because it's not like we don't have enough. Nerd Propellant and Fox Die are doing an amazing job making anywhere from shroud breakers to cursed cannonballs to crates to chests to weapons. God, they're making so much awesome stuff. But yeah, anyway, moving on. All right, so things are already kind of going pretty long right now. The interview plus what I've been talking about, we're already looking close to at least 40 to 50 minutes. So I'm going to try and shotgun a few of the different things that I wanted to cover in this episode. So first off, congrats in the Keelhauled Discord server. Drunken Monkey and P51 have both hit Pirate Legend this week. Thank you so much for being in the Discord, for joining with other crewmates in the Discord, and finally hitting that Pirate Legend and making it to the Pirate Legend Tavern. It's such an awesome feeling to finally get there, to finally get the last of the reputation that you need, and to be able to talk to that mysterious stranger, get your clothing, get your tune, open up that stairwell for yourself. It's such a good feeling. I always remember just how good I felt in July of last year when I hit it, and it's been so great to see so many different pirates come to the Discord and share their feelings and their thoughts and their stories in the Discord. I know that there's a little bit of a change that's come up, so we've added some different channels as far as people who want to look for pirates for adventure and look for pirates for arena. And we've been doing a lot in that server. It's been a real home away from home for me, and I can't wait to see just some of the new pirates that come in, and once they hit Pirate Legends, it's such an awesome feeling. One of the other things that I did want to mention is the Shroud Broken song, the song that's at the end of Tall Tales 9. That is now available to listen to through Apple Music, through YouTube, through Spotify, through just about any kind of Google Music, any kind of streaming service that you normally listen to music. They finally released that. I really don't know why they're dragging their feet on just releasing the whole OST. They just need to come out with a full original soundtrack for this game. Please, just put this thing out there. There will be us nerds that go and buy the entire album or keep streaming to the service. It's supplementary income at this point. You're just making money for yourselves. It's just put it on there for us, please, just all of it. I can't. I'm please just put it out there. Gosh, what else? Let's see. Oh, I have merchandise. I actually have merchandise now. I went and I'm going through Teespring. I'll have a link in the show notes if you want to buy stuff. Everything that I picked that is available for purchase, as far as I know, ships internationally, and I am awaiting my first item to show up sometime in mid-July. If I don't like it, I can return it, and the same return policy applies to you as well for any items that you purchase. It's two variants. There's a black and a white variant that will let you, or black shirt and a white shirt and different accessories and stuff. And it's the Keelhauled logo. I'm going to be working on some different ones, I think, so that we can get some different types of shirts up there, some different color, kind of how the Reaper's Mark has multiple colors and stuff. I'm going to do some different gradients and some different color combinations, see if I can put some variety up there so that you guys can pick and choose and see what you like. But I'm happy. I'm excited. I can't wait to get a coffee mug and a phone case and a t-shirt, and I don't know, I might buy some other stuff too, just so that I can walk around and have it for cons. And speaking of cons, Guardian Con is happening this week, and this week they're having their next invitational, the Battle for Orlando, and it's going to be in support with I believe it's Goliathon, and they're doing proceeds, I think, for St. Jude. They've been doing a lot of work for St. Jude on that, and the participants of this Battle for Orlando, the invitational, where they go fight in the arena, just like what they did in LA for E3. The winners of the crew that goes there are going to be getting a gold-plated Xbox, which it's just so cool. It's really awesome. I know a lot of people are looking forward to heading out there. I know, what was it, Captain Balzonia is going to be heading out there as well. So he's already poking fun at me that he's going to go hug John. That I won't be able to hug John for a while. And yeah, it's so cool to see that the Arena Invitationals becoming a thing. Like, people are going out and they're enjoying it, and it's getting watched. I'm really looking forward to seeing just how much further this can actually go. Can we make Arena something that is on the docket for cons that people can enjoy, and we can start seeing good prizes and some spotlighting for crews and whatnot, something that isn't necessarily approach like all the different streamers and whatnot. Maybe some crews that are put together that don't necessarily stream but are just really good Arena players, and see if they can get in there. Maybe we can have like some trials or some brackets and stuff, and see who works their way up with their crew to earn entry into an invitational, as opposed to just having straight streamers. I kind of like that idea. And gosh, is there anything else? There was a really cool post about a gentleman in the UK who makes his own kind of his own clothing, his old clothing. He doesn't wear anything modern, and everything everything that he actually makes looks like it's from, I think it's the 16th century. It's all kind of like Pride and Prejudice, looks really Victorian style, beautiful stuff. It's amazing that he even makes that. And I posted the question to Shelly and to Mike Chapman about when we were going to be getting some more clothing like that, and Mike didn't say specifically when, but he definitely confirmed it was on the table, that they wanted to get some stuff out there, kind of like that soon, soonTM. And I think that's about it. Oh, there's one more thing I wanted to cover. I almost forgot about the Q&A that was done in the forums for the arena. On Wednesday, the Q&A team hosted an arena questionnaire. They basically went through and anyone could submit a question. seaofnews.net posted a really good summary of the questions that got responses. And I'm going to hit on some of the ones that I think are going to be really interesting, because I think that they'll really impact whether or not you will come to Arena and jump into the arena. So they asked when they'll be able to bring sloops and brigs into the arena. They said that they're actually testing this on the insider build for experimentation right now. So if you did want to try that out, I guess that's in the insider build. Not that I could talk about it if I knew. Crossplay, the opt-out, hasn't really had much attention. They said that they were testing it in May and that they were hoping to get it out in June. It is now July and we haven't heard anything about it. And they're still working on developing the input split for matchmaking. And I think this kind of ties into another question that they did, where they talked about finding a better way to get evenly matched pirates for matchmaking. That's something that they want to improve on. They want to make sure that the people that you're fighting are of the same skill. But unfortunately, when you have things like open crew, you could get just about any varying skill, and that could really throw off the balance of who's good, who's bad, who's inexperienced, who's experienced, things like that. So dealing with matchmaking, I think, is just as high a priority in the arena as opt-out. I think opting out is still something that is going to really make console players a lot happier, until maybe they realize that they're still getting owned or they're not. It depends. There's going to be some notifications on the screen when someone leaves or joins your crew in Adventure and in Arena, and that's something that is coming to the game later on. They are looking to have ways to try and make sure that you can either choose to fight the pirates that you did in the last match versus joining or fighting new pirates. As it stands, I think that the way that the matchmaking works is that it completely refreshes the entire arena lobby after each match. There was some interesting questions about how come the tavern for the arena isn't available in adventure mode, and they said that this is basically coming down to them not being able to get it in for technical reasons. The more stuff that's in adventure, the harder it is to add different stuff, and I think that there's a lot more coming that they want to put in, and that all requires resources, and once you max out on those resources, you have trouble running the game, and they have to balance this for some pretty low specs out there right now. So until they get to a point where they can kind of shore up the bottom of the power line that they need to the power, I can't think of a good way to explain it, but basically once they get the lower specs raised up a little bit with future generations of technology, and people kind of upgrade their systems maybe to the next Xbox Scarlet, or just with the new graphics cards, then maybe we can kind of look at things as far as like adding the interior to the tavern, or maybe putting more ships on a server instead of just the current 6, because right now the ships are the biggest resource hog that they have, and because we only have 6, it still kind of makes the world feel a little vacant at times, where for example, like the other night I was sailing around doing Tall Tales, and I saw tons of ships everywhere, and then after a while I didn't see any for a long time, and then I found out that a lot of them were over in the Roar. And because the world is so much bigger now, and there could be 6 ships, but they could all be sloops. They could all be doing on their own thing everywhere else, and it's hard to see them. So I'm hoping that at some point we'll start seeing some more stuff in the game. As always, I know Rare is constantly trying to eke out more stuff in the game. And one of those interesting things that I thought came to the game deals with the shopkeeps. We have an interesting new banner at the top of the merchants, or the Order of Souls. So something that I noticed in game, and it was brought to my attention, is that there's a new flag, and the new flag has these little round guys with a little skull in the middle, and there's 3 of them, and it looks pretty much like a new shop, and or not a new shop necessarily, but a new part of the building opening up where the potion vendors used to be. And I'm starting to wonder, like, what could this be? Could this be part of a new kind of reputation that's coming, maybe with the Sea Dogs, or maybe with the Hunter's Call? Probably not the Hunter's Call, because they don't want to actually be on the actual outposts. Or could this be for like checking out microtransactions? Like, could this be where you go to purchase your, like, a pet shop kind of thing, like little shop? Well, I don't know, pet shop thing, but yeah, I'm kind of wondering, like, is this where the microtransactions are going to live? Are they gonna put something in those shops? Because currently they're not. There's nothing in them. I mean, there's a few that you can get on top of and see inside from, like, cracks in the ceiling or the windows and stuff, but there's not actually anything in them per se. But the banner has some interesting suggestions out there about what that could be. So maybe pets are further along than I was thinking, because originally I just assumed that we weren't going to see them for a while, because they've been focusing on Tall Tales and getting balance and stuff done with that, plus getting Arena underway with the Invitational and whatnot, and with the change in game, it'll be kind of cool to see if we can actually start spending some real money in Sea of Thieves. Get some pets. I want some pets. We know parrots are coming. What else? I'm assuming a monkey. I feel like that's like the Jack Sparrow Barbossa thing to get, right? That's kind of needs to be a monkey, but I still want my cat. Gotta happen, please. Rare. I want to have a cat. Please. There are a couple other things that I do want to talk about regarding N13, some discoveries that were made by Captain Falcor. I'm going to leave that up to him. It's his reveal since he's the one that actually discovered it. And we were going to have a conversation this week about it, but we didn't get a chance to. And hopefully we will either this coming week or the week after. But regardless, he said that he'd be working on a video for that. I will probably be retweeting it and posting it, and then we can dive into it hopefully either later this week or next week. We can talk about some of the findings and speculate on what could be coming down the line for Adventure. And I think that's going to do it. I think it's time for the rest of that interview. You guys have listened to the first and the second part all of last week, and now for the conclusion of the 2 hours and 40-minute interview that I had with Aaron Pikaaroon Nielsen. Last time on Keelhauled.
I mean, part of me worries a little bit that we didn't get a date.
They needed to push back Luigis Mansion. I think they would have told us.
Sustainable working and like the anti-crunch movement, which I think is that's super important. And also if gamers weren't so demanding and if the market wasn't so demanding, I don't think crunch would be as big a thing across the entire industry.
Having companies be more transparent in their communication, giving the budget that they need to have good community development. There is a very good reason why the GameCube controller has lasted since 2001 to 2019 in regards to Smash Brothers.
What do they call them? The Tomcats, the Radcats or something? I don't recall the name of the company. Mad Cats, that's the one. You would always get the official one, but you would hand off the crappy ones to your friends.
Of course.
What I did wrong there is I sold off the Wavebird because I was using other controllers, right?
Yeah.
To a friend of mine, and I sold it for like $20. He would always keep hanging it over me. He's like, remember that one time you sold me a Wavebird for $20 and now you can't buy them for any less than like 120 or $200 or something ridiculous?
Visit each other's town and then you steal each other's fruit, chop down a couple trees and write a nasty letter to their friend.
Be like, he was a gruff, grizzly old mole that was angry at you at all points.
We really should have games that don't cause us anxiety. Cadence of Hyrule, it's
which is absolutely mind-blowing, right? That's where we're at now, where Nintendo's trusting in that brand to a small development studio. My career inside the games industry is only just beginning, but I'm excited to be a part of it where it is right now, and I think there's going to be a lot of really, really good stuff to come out of the next few years as well.
And now the rest of the story. Was there anything else from the Nintendo press conference or direct that you wanted to touch on?
The only thing I would want to say quickly is that I was a little upset we didn't hear anything on Pikmin. There was no talk of any new titles or anything because there has been. It's becoming a very long-running joke right now that Pikmin. There is apparently a game that exists, but I'm starting to wonder if maybe that game was the 3DS kind of offshoot and there's nothing else after that. But yeah, I was kind of hoping for a Pikmin 4 talk, even if it was just an announce. Didn't have to be heaps because that is another IP that I love dearly. And I'd like to see that represented again on Switch and see what a Switch variation of that franchise means.
How about Mario Odyssey or Mario Kart? Is the Mario Maker kind of enough to sate you on the Mario franchise right now?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I appreciate Mario as a franchise, the series of Mario games. I appreciate them, but they're not really the system sellers for me. So it's not. I don't normally go, I'm going to buy the Nintendo thing because there's this Mario game coming out.
Okay.
Or I know that sounds weird because I love Nintendo, but often enough the reason I've bought a console is because of another game in their IP history, right? Be it a Metroid, be it a Pikmin, be it whatever it might be. I typically am drawn towards those games. So not having those games in show doesn't really affect me. When those games are announced, I'm often cool. but it's not something I anticipate.
That's that's funny because that's actually how I am too. Like I was happy that Mario Odyssey was coming, but I was ecstatic when I heard that a new Zelda game was being made and that it was coming to the system a year later.
Like Mario's popular, but he's not the reason I'm here. He's not the reason.
Yeah.
Like, and again, like I can play a Mario game, and again, as a budding young designer, I kind of look at these games and go like, what have they done to make this good design? Like, what is the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's always things I can learn from those games, but again, they're not games that I go to. They're not games that I'm looking for. So I've only not long been playing Mario Kart 8 on Switch. Is it 8?
Yeah.
What are we up to?
8,
yeah, it is 8
Deluxe.
Yeah, that's the one. So, not long been playing that. So honestly, there could be like another 2 or 3 years go by without a Mario Kart and I would be fine. I'd be content. Like I don't need that franchise again.
Yeah.
And as far as like, say, another Odyssey something or other, or another Mario game, like I've not long played Odyssey. So, I kind of wanted to see more DLC support for Odyssey, like in the form of like new planets, new worlds, new things to look at.
Yeah.
I guess like that would have been nice. It doesn't necessarily need to be a whole sequel to that, but not having that again doesn't necessarily upset me. So, and the Mario Maker thing, I'm excited for. I'll probably pick it up and dabble, but I don't see myself spending a lot of time being even though it'd be fun to kind of create the levels and test them things out in being a designer aspect of things. I don't see myself doing that a lot, to be honest. Like I think I'd be kind of the person to download other people's creations and play theirs. And that's purely just based on a time thing. Like I'm not gonna. I don't think I would have the time to dedicate to that space to just keep designing levels. And who knows? I mean, maybe I'll pick that up and I'll start tinkering with it, and I'll be like, actually, I can whip these things out in a quick enough time that I would actually have a bit of fun with it. But yeah, again, not something I'm hyped for. It's just going to happen, and I'll be like, yeah, I'll pick it up when it's here.
Okay, so quick question: if you could get either Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 or Sea of Thieves on the Switch by 2020 holiday, which would you rather have?
I mean, I think that is a very loaded question. Okay, so I think personally having Sea of Thieves on the Switch would probably be the better of the two, right? Because like. And obviously that's not to say this is happening. That's not an announcement in any sense. It's like obviously that
it's my fever dream.
But
it is purely my fever dream that I will constantly push until someone makes it happen. Phil Spencer, if you're listening to this,
please make it happen. But like I think selfishly I would like that because it means I can continue to play Sea of Thieves on a console I'm spending a lot of time with. Like I play Sea of Thieves a lot. Love that game.
Yeah.
But it means and I love my Xbox. Like I love all my consoles. I don't really have like a disdain or any kind of like dislike for anything. All games are great. So
yeah.
But if it means I don't have to like set the Xbox up, or if I'm already playing Switch and I can kind of like change between the games, right?
Yeah.
And Sea of Thieves is there on that console, then yep, I'll take it 100% hands down. I've got Breath of the Wild already, so right, like I'm not. It's like if that was the option, you have this or this, I would say give me the Sea of Thieves because that doesn't exist, right? Like I don't. Yeah. That doesn't happen. So
I asked that question because there's two routes that I thought it could go. One, it would probably either go to Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 because of the continuation of the idea of what that could be. And because you already have Sea of Thieves for Xbox and that you don't necessarily need it on the go. And then of course what I want, which is I want Sea of Thieves to end up on the Switch because there are so many of my friends that only play on the Switch nowadays, or don't own an Xbox, that would probably have a good time if they genuinely sat down and spent some time getting into the game and seeing what's feasible. That having that game available through the Game Pass on the Switch is something that I think would just be a complete win for Rare and for Microsoft as a result. And I think for Nintendo as well, too, because it would add value to the system in the form of having another good open world game. So
yeah, then it's like there's no real negative to that, right?
No.
Like that outcome. There's no real negative there. But I guess as well though, in the sense of like in the vein of portable Sea of Thieves, like that is going to essentially become reality with the use of like XCloud and those sort of systems that Microsoft are playing at the moment. So like or setting up at the moment. So it'll be
amazing.
It'd be really cool to essentially have Sea of Thieves on the go via mobile product, like whatever it may be, a phone or a tablet or whatever, right? So
I'm looking forward to that.
It is going to be very cool. So like we are getting it in a way, but I guess selfishly, I would be like, if it was on the Switch, like that's just cool, man. Like and it kind of it shows again the further partnership that Nintendo and Microsoft are holding at the moment. Like there's a lot of crossovers happening.
Have they?
Well, a one-sided crossover, I would say. Like a lot of Xbox coming to Switch, right?
Yeah.
Like, I guess it's not happening the other way yet, but that's a whole different story. That's a whole new conversation we could have.
That's something that I think would be really interesting to see. If you, I don't even see. That's the thing, is I don't know what Nintendo could offer Microsoft that would actually work that way. Because in my mind, Game Pass is such a great service that it only makes sense to try and bring that to as many devices as possible. And like you said, I think XCloud is going to be awesome. And when it does come out, I will seriously consider carrying around my Sea of Thieves controller in my backpack, so that I can pull out my phone, set it up, and hop on for a little bit on Sea of Thieves, just to try and make some extra coin during lunch or something. Like that is seriously crossed my mind so many times. But I don't know what it would be. Like, what would fans of Nintendo feel?
Like what it is that you could essentially offer back the other way. It is interesting for sure.
I think what Nintendo needs to do is continue taking advantage of Microsoft's goodwill and learn how Microsoft is able to have backwards compatibility for their entire generations of consoles, and then offer that for the Switch, so that we can play any of the games from prior consoles the way they used to have Virtual Console. The fact that they got rid of Virtual Console is a travesty in my mind, because I was so looking forward to having Wind Waker HD on my Switch. And
I mean, that, like, when I guess a quick note to that point, it's like, because of the unfortunate nature of the Wii U, right? Like that console didn't sell well. It was considered like a lot of people are considering that essentially a failure or a flop. And I wouldn't necessarily disagree there, but I guess the games that console received were so good, and it's criminal on how many eyes didn't get to see that. Like so many people are missing out on some great titles there. So I would, just on that console alone, I am 100% down for them doing deluxe versions, porting these things from the Wii U to the Switch, because that needs to happen. Like, there is such a vast community of people playing Switch now that these people can experience those amazing games that came to a console that unfortunately didn't do so well. So I want Pikmin 3 on Switch. I want, like, give me the Wonderful 101. I want all of those kind of games. They need to come across, and that's just for the Wii U. But a bigger argument could be had for, like, the wealth of games that they have sitting under their belt. They could essentially bring across the sheer amount of money that they could get. Like Nintendo have the potential to create a Game Pass too, right? Like they have the potential to create their own subscription-based thing purely for virtual console stuff.
Yeah,
right. Like
they could totally do it. The Nintendo Switch Online is poised to do that, and they're dragging their feet with these unknown NES titles that keep coming every month. That everyone's just like, okay, maybe I'll get a good one of the three and an SP version of something I've already got. Like, they have the potential to really wow us with offering the stuff that they hold so dearly. They keep these games so locked up in their vault that they could make so much money off of again and again and again. They've proven it time and time again with the virtual console that people are willing to buy these games over and over and over again, and them not putting these available on a Game Pass. Like, they're wondering why they're not making money with their Nintendo Switch Online server. And it's because they're not facilitating the needs of 2019 by giving us party chat, by giving us backwards compatibility with cross saves and true online backup and offline backup as well. There's so many things that this company, as much as I love them, are failing, that I think having a relationship with Microsoft could truly improve Nintendo as a leading console in a world where everyone is counting the SSD cache and the amount of gigaflops on their graphics card and how much RAM is available for virtual memory and stuff. It's like there's so much emphasis on power and driving, native 4K at 60 frames with ray tracing, that people are looking at the Switch and being like, it'd be great if there was a more powerful version. And I'm like, I'm fine with the power that it has. I'm fine with keeping the Switch and not making a new version or a mini. Just give me some of the things that are kind of bare bones necessity to be able to play with other people online. Stop pretending like there aren't people online wanting to play with each other.
And I think as well, like, to close off that discussion, essentially, it's like the virtual console argument, right? Like, it's a huge thing for game preservation. Like, that is just no. It's purely not even like, if you look at it in a money thing. Like, yes, there's a lot of money that could be made. Yes, we're going to get to play games that are from an age before, but it's like, it's the games preservation thing that I get so excited about. It's like allowing people to go back to a time like some of these games just don't exist, or you can't get them anymore, right? So why not bring them back into a modern age? And like, there has to be a better way to do this. Like, there has to be a better way to kind of show off, and especially for Nintendo, who has such a wide range of different titles and different generations of games. Like, they're in a prime position to be something that helps the preservation move forward. Yeah, for sure.
It's true, especially when you have companies like Square Enix that are like, we would love to release this game, but we don't know where the source code is for it. It's like, awesome. Well, we've ripped the ROM. Help us port the ROM to different engines, and we'll try and keep this game alive, instead of you guys just not releasing it ever because you can't edit the source code.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, it's such an interesting time right now. There's so many good conversations happening, and it's fascinating to see just where companies are going to be going in the next 10 years of what's going to be happening. We're just starting to see virtual reality headsets get cordless, and that's a whole realm that I can't wait to find out, like, what that world is like. Like, I can't wait for Ready Player One.
Oh, dude, it's like, it's one of those things though. And man, we literally could be here all day. But with the VR stuff, it's a very interesting space that I'm looking forward to kind of seeing grow. But for myself personally, like, there's still some trappings with VR that I'm just like, the biggest one of them being motion sickness. Like, I cannot play VR for a long period of time, and by long periods I mean more than 20 minutes. If I'm playing for longer than that, I start to feel really off. So, and until those sort of things can get fixed, like, I don't know if that's going to be something for me. And I know that there's probably a wide amount of people that have similar reactions to that type of gaming. So I mean, yeah, having cordless headsets is great. Having that technology be lighter and cheaper and all that sort of stuff is awesome. But they also need to fundamentally work out like how to get more people to be able to play it without them being hindered by just a sickness, like a motion blur sickness.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think a lot of that comes down to what I think is the proper terminology for it, but sensory deprivation, where you don't feel like you're actually in the space that's being presented in front of you, I think is kind of what I'm trying to get across here. And I think things like feedback suits are something that can help with that, feeling resistance on when you move, when you're in an environment like water where it's going to be harder to move physically, can help with that, or feeling, like impacts or something that kind of tells your body something that coincides with what you're seeing will help kind of bridge that gap of what's happening to you mentally versus what's happening to you physically, and kind of help with that. But I definitely think that as technology gets better, the latency and the refresh rate, all that just will help kind of present it. And the biggest victims in this, unfortunately, are always going to be women, because as I've read in some of the studies with VR, like they are just far more susceptible to motion sickness with VR than men are. And that's a lot of the gating that happened with when they were testing out, especially like the Oculus Rift. They spent a lot of time testing that with women to make sure that they weren't getting motion sickness, because if they didn't, then there was a higher chance of success for men to not get motion sick. And I think
that's fair. That's interesting. So I hadn't heard that before. So yeah, right.
Really, really crazy stuff. Yeah. And
I can imagine. And I guess like I guess that's exactly what you're saying there. The sensory deprivation. It's like for me, anytime I'm playing a VR game, the games that are the worst are the ones that require movement of the head or the camera.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I'm sitting in a stationary place, like playing Job Simulator, and I'm picking things up and interacting with a small space around me, I could play that for, a lot longer and it would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you are playing a platformer and you've got to move the camera from point A to point B, but you're physically sitting in one place.
Yeah.
That motion of moving forward and me knowing that I'm physically sitting down somewhere or standing somewhere without moving, that's where I start to go, ugh.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But it's a whole nother thing. But man, this has been fun, dude. Like,
yeah.
Thanks for inviting me in on this, by the way.
This is definitely, it's something that I've wanted to do for a while, and there's so many amazing people, not only within the company but just in the community, and you've bridged that gap, and that was something that I thought was worth sitting down to talk about. And the fact that we made it, this is running on 2 hours and 45 minutes now, that we've managed to chew through a lot of ground. So I'm probably going to cut this up into multiple segments, and I'm kind of mentally debating on if I want to release it little by little throughout the week to give something for people to listen to, or if I want to spread it out over the course of a few weeks. And
I'll leave that entirely up to your very capable hands. I look forward to hearing it myself again. But yeah, I like it. The time just flew by. I looked at the clock and I'm like, oh, I should probably go get some lunch. It's getting close to that. So, yeah, man, this has been lots of fun. Thanks for having me. And apologies if I didn't really like tap on certain topics too deeply. Like,
no, whatever you're comfortable with.
I can kind of ramble, can kind of talk a bit long. So,
nope.
It's one of those things like, well, actually, just as a sneak peek, I am actually looking at writing up a forum blog, like a forum post about my time at Rare. So I know in this podcast we haven't really tapped on like the time I've actually been in Rare. It's kind of been talking about like how I got to be where I am.
Yeah.
I guess you can look forward to that, and everyone listening. I don't know when I'll actually have this live, but I'm hoping to write something up soon and just kind of touch on my time at Rare and just kind of some of the tasks that I've been set to do, and just kind of deep dive and do a bit of a kind of post-mortem, I suppose.
We didn't
on what's happening.
Yeah,
so
we didn't even get to really talk about the journals with the tall tales at all.
No.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's right. Like Yeah, I mean, this podcast, I suppose, is a good catch up on where I am today and how I got here. But I think if you want, keep an eye out for that on the forums. We'll have I'll have something written up and post it there, and hopefully that gives a little bit more insight into some of the things I've been tasked with doing at Rare.
Yeah.
Some of the fun I've been having. So
and definitely let me know too, because as soon as it goes up, I'll make sure to get the link and talk about it in the podcast that's after it's up, so that people
coincided with.
Yep,
yeah,
that way people
for sure.
can kind of follow up with it.
No worries at all. Well, yeah, no. Again, thanks, CaptainLogun, for having me through, man. This has been good fun. It's been a while since I've been on a podcast. I used to host my own, and so it's been fun to dive back into this.
Oh, awesome! I'm glad to hear it. So, for everyone that wants to be able to follow everything that you're doing online, where can people find you?
Yep. So my Twitter handle is kind of like where I put, because I'm quite new to Twitter. Like, I've only been using it for the last year or two properly, I think. But if you want to find me there, it's the Aaron Lee. So that's Leigh for Lee. And or you can search up Pikaaroon, and that should find me as well. That's Pikaaroon. And yeah, so like follow me there. I'm also on the forums under the same name, Pikaaroon. You'll be able to see bits and pieces there, and yeah, just keep up to date with the stuff. But I guess like definitely Twitter. Twitter's the go-to if you want to have a chat with me. Get to know me, whatever. That's where I'm at.
Excellent. And we're going to end it here, folks. I hope you enjoyed this. If you've made it through all the little episodes that I'll probably chop this up into, congratulations. I will give you a big thumbs up that you won't see, but can definitely know I'm doing. And with that, we're going to say goodbye.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye. All right, Pirates, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you very much for listening this week, and I will be back next week. So make sure you tune in every week. You can always subscribe at all of the different iTunes and Google Plays and Spotify's and all that good stuff. Pirates, thank you. If you want to get a hold of me, there's plenty of ways to do it. You can always reach me at CAPT_LOGUN on Twitter. You can always email me at CAPTLOGUN@gmail.com. And if you want to talk to me through Xbox, you can always hit up my gamertag. It is CAPTAINLOGUN, CaptainLogun, everywhere that you can find me. And don't forget, I do have that merchandise. If you want it, it's definitely available. Go into the show notes and click that link. Also, all the links for videos and news, things like that, I put all the references in the show notes as well. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Pirates, thank you. I love you, and I look forward to sailing with you on the Sea of Thieves.